Hi guys, it's me, Michaela Marie, back with another video. Thanks so much for being here again. I don't want to do too much of an intro here. I just kind of want to get into it today because we have some things that we need to talk about. I have my notes here and I'm going to try to stick to the notes. We'll see. But I am sure by now we have all heard about the Texas school shooting that just happened, and we are doing our best to sympathize with the families. I just couldn't imagine what they are dealing with right now. All I can do is send my prayers out to them, that they can find comfort and peace during this time. And I hope y'all are doing the same. I want to get into like what will make someone like shoot up a school, because we need to figure this out, right? Like, we know they're not gonna change the gun laws that would take away their power. So we're not gonna worry about that. We need to worry about what we can control, right? And although it's not our own child, it could very well be if we are not taking the necessary steps to make sure we know who we are raising. It really does start with us, and there is always something that we can do. So I want to talk about it. So I did a little bit of research into who this kid was, because although he did have a monster living inside of him, he was very much a child. He had just turned 18 on the 16th, 6 days before he went to go buy 2 rifles. And then 2 days later, the massacre happened. So he was still a baby, like someone's baby. If there was a report of an 18-year-old being shot and killed, we would be sad. Like, he is a baby. There have been plenty of 18-year-olds just getting their life started, just about to graduate. And so he was still a baby, essentially. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out where it all went wrong. And so I did a little bit of research into his background of what I could find. And it was quite disturbing, and there were definitely many signs. So let's see, I'll start here. So his mother said that her son was not an angry person. She didn't know him to be this person, which I want to get into, because we really need to pay attention to our kids, because like I said, there were many signs. Some of the things that I was able to find out about him and who he was, some of his classmates and coworkers described him as sometimes aggressive, and he had a lot of disturbing social media posts. One girl said, "He gave me such an odd vibe." Another girl said, "He always seemed scary." There was one kid that said he drove around shooting strangers with BB guns and egging random people's cars. And then there was another kid that was saying that he wasn't bullied. He was trying to bully kids, but he wasn't really good at it. So that upset him more. And another girl said that he like cut his face and was proudly telling people he had scars, that he did them himself. So all of these things are like a cry for attention and a cry for help. Someone else said that he started out hurting animals, which we all know is a telltale sign. So I searched up sociopaths. And it said that sociopaths tend to be associated with harmful childhood experiences, including sexual abuse, physical violence, or parental instability, which I literally just did a video on. And I think that's crazy, because the video I did was on children's mental health. And wow, that's big volumes. And it also said that many have parents who were substance abusers and who failed to provide parental guidance and attention. That attention is something serious. I don't think people realize how much kids need attention, or they will find it somewhere else. In unproductive ways. I don't want to dig too much further into that because it is quite upsetting, the whole situation. I did just want to bring light to that background because, the mom claimed that she basically had no idea who her son was. Actually, I do have another, like, pretty important chunk of information I don't want to leave out. When I was doing my research as well, I did find out that there was some type of like argument between the mother and the son, which caused him to move in with his grandparents, and it was over her choice to disconnect the Wi-Fi. So he was obviously like obsessed with the internet, or something along those lines. And then he also had an argument with his grandmother, which started the whole massacre. Basically, they were getting into it because he wasn't on track to graduate this year, and they also mentioned something about her wanting him to get his own phone, and that resulted in him shooting her in the face, which he also posted that he was going to do beforehand and after he did shoot her. He posted on social media. He also posted previously that he wanted to be famous like the Don't F with Cats nutcase that you may have watched on Netflix. It was madness. So he was definitely after attention. That was his main objective. And I think it's super important that we know who we have in our homes. Like, who are we raising? What are they being influenced by? What are they doing on social media? We need to know. It's so important. I have a journal entry from April 8th of 2022 that I want to read and then get into it. So, you have to be especially careful with kids, what they watch, listen to, who they are around, because they are so innocent and fragile. They are sponges, and we became so jaded to that idea, we forgot about it. We don't realize the extent to which every little thing can affect them tremendously. Every big thing, every single small thing. It's so important. We've gotten too selfish and started putting our own needs above theirs. They never asked to be here. It's our responsibility to do right by them and nurture them. Use our past experiences as a guide to be who we needed when we were growing up. Many things can cause trauma without you realizing how impactful it truly is. That's why therapy is so important. To be constantly working through things and addressing issues while they are still small. So there's a lot to unpack. I want to touch on therapy briefly. For some reason, there's this huge stigma around therapy that if you are going to therapy, you're crazy. And, this generation has definitely been doing their best to break that down. And we know that therapy is helpful. It is something that we should consider a necessity, because there are so many things that can traumatize you, and you would have no idea that it's even affecting you until 5-10 years down the line. If you are speaking to someone regularly and just unloading things that you would consider to be small, you may find out that they are not as small as you were initially thinking. But you caught it before it snowballed and turned into something else, right? So I would definitely recommend everyone to get into therapy. It's very much your friend. It's not anything to be embarrassed about. I believe in therapy like preventative medicine, like eating healthy and working out rather than trying to treat the disease, which is cancer, which is diabetes. Catch it before it becomes a problem. Okay, let's break down the top of this. So we have to be careful with what our kids are consuming on any type of media, whether it's TV, music they listen to, if they're of age to have social media, who they're following, you know, what they're involved in on the internet. The internet is a crazy place, full of crazy people and so many things that kids should not be exposed to because they're just not mature enough to handle it and understand it. Kids are so like easily influenced and moldable. That is why on YouTube they try to get to them through the kids videos and put evil thoughts into their heads and things like that, because it's the easiest form of attack. Like, a kid doesn't know any better if they don't have anyone telling them right from wrong. And so even who they're around, still haven't really figured out what to say about that one. But I made the choice to remove my son from his dad's home, and I do plan to make like a whole separate video on that. But basically, someone that is, one, a narcissist, someone that is in denial, that refuses to heal from trauma, past traumas, and things like that. I won't allow my child to be in that type of environment because I know how greatly that can affect him and who he grows up to be. So at the end of the day, I have given many options to still allow him to see our son, but I need to do what's best for him, and I am supposed to protect him, and that's what I'm going to do by any means. But I don't want to get too much into that in this video either. I did just want to touch on that a little bit because it is detrimental. It's way more important than we like to act like, or whatever the case may be. But I don't play like that. So so yeah, there's that. And then the other thing that I really wanted to get into is how selfish parents are these days. And God is definitely still working on myself with that. I have been broken down many times when it comes to that. So I definitely know it firsthand, and it's not pretty. But I appreciate the journey and being able to better myself and level up as many times as I need to be the person that my son needs me to be. And I definitely will have some personal stories to share when the time comes, when the time is right. I won't get into it here either right now, but we all know how babies are made, right? And if we are not taking the necessary steps to prevent a child from being born, essentially we are saying that we're ready to take on the responsibility of raising a child. And I saw something that was so powerful to me, and it basically just said, if you don't love life, don't create life, because you will immediately be pulling that child down with you. And it's just that simple, really. So when I say selfish, you know, a lot of times when we have kids, we may be young, we may still want to, you know, go out, hang out with our friends, be scrolling on social media. We want to go on trips and things, and we want to be able to do all the things that everyone else is doing. And a lot of times that kid is being left out, right? They're being neglected. If you're on social media, you have your face in your phone and you are not paying attention to your kid. They want to show you something cool, which we all know it may just be a little kick or a jump or whatever, but um, those things are so important to them. Like just the fact that you're paying attention to them and wanting to spend time with them and loving on them and, you know, showing them that you want them around and you care about them. Like, it is a full-time job. And that's not to say that we can't have our time where we go out and have like alone time or vacation or whatever. We definitely need those breaks too. Like, don't get me wrong. But sometimes we can take our kids on vacation too, right? And, you know, sometimes we can take our kids out for an adventure. They want to go and do fun things. Certain pieces are for certain people. Everyone is at a different level when it comes to parenting. I just don't think that people just don't know if they're aware that kids need a little bit extra. Like, they need that quality time, one-on-one time. If you have multiple kids, one-on-one time with each child separately. They need that encouragement from you. They need attention, attention, attention. I can't say it enough. I will not stop saying it. Small things like that bring joy to their day. Like, go out of your way to, you know, put a smile on their face. Even when it's inconvenient for you, even when you're tired, you've had a long day, you know, still tuck them in bed at night, read them that story. My son loves getting a foot massage. I actually started giving him like a back massage one time because I noticed he had a dry spot on his back. He was fresh out the bath, so, you know, I did his feet too, and, you know, he loved it. So we started incorporating that into our bedtime routine because it's something that he looks forward to. It's an extra way for us to bond. And now me getting emotional. Oh yeah. Anyways, it's another way for us to bond, and that's something that he loves, and I'll always golly, always do whatever I can to put a smile on his face. So that's something that I know that he loves and he looks forward to, and who am I to take away such a small joy from him? I've had days where I was so tired and I read a couple pages out the book and saved the rest for later, but I still made sure that we got the massage in because he's always like, it's so relaxing, and just thinking about that smile on his face really does it for me. So now I'm crying on the internet. Anyways, child. So I said all that to say that if you're not willing to sacrifice and you're not willing to heal from your own things, you'll never really be able to be at your full potential and fully be the person that your child deserves. You won't be able to see that they are crying out for help and attention. You won't be able to see that they're drifting. So yeah, it definitely starts with us. We have to do the hard work and really dig deep and heal our inner child. It's just a lot more important than we may realize. I'm sure I'll have plenty of videos to come about childhood trauma, inner child, and all that good stuff. It's not something that people just say. It's so true. It's so real. And one other thing that always sticks out with me when I'm dealing with like people that are immature or, you know, acting out, I heard that people only mature to their level of trauma. So if they had a really traumatizing experience as an 8-year-old, then that's where their maturity stops. So they could be a 30-year-old, they could be 40, 50, but they act like an 8-year-old because they are stuck. Their inner child is stuck in that traumatic event. And that's who shows up to every situation that needs a response. That's who is throwing a temper tantrum and walking away in the middle of an argument. That's who is trying to start a fight with you. That's who is calling you names, and, you know, the inner child that never moved past that moment. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. If you made it to the end, make sure you like this video, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Okay, peace out.